A critical vulnerability in React server components has been added to the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency's Known Exploited Vulnerabilities catalog. This flaw, tracked as CV 2025-55182, poses a significant risk, allowing unauthenticated attackers to execute arbitrary code remotely. On December 6, 2025, CISA reported that exploitation of this vulnerability is already happening in the wild. The issue arises from insecure deserialization in the React library, enabling attackers to send specially crafted HTTP requests that can manipulate server operations. In this video, we'll explore the details of the React2Shell vulnerability, the ongoing exploitation attempts, and the steps users should take to protect their systems. If you find this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals. As the React2Shell vulnerability continues to unfold, the timeline of its exploitation reveals a concerning pattern of rapid adaptation by threat actors. Following its identification, reports indicated that attacks began almost immediately, with significant activity traced back to Chinese hacking groups such as Earthlamia and Jackpot Panda. This swift exploitation underscores the vulnerability's severe implications, particularly given its high CVSS score of 10.0, marking it as critical. Security experts have noted that the flaw is rooted in insecure deserialization within the flight protocol used by React. This technical nuance highlights the need for developers and organizations to understand the underlying mechanics of such vulnerabilities. The situation is further complicated by the fact that multiple frameworks, including Next.js and React Router, are also at risk, suggesting that the impact could be widespread across various applications and services. As of early December 2025, data from Census revealed approximately 2.15 million internet-facing services potentially vulnerable to this flaw, prompting urgent calls for organizations to patch their systems. The Shadow Server Foundation's findings of nearly 29,000 exposed IP addresses illustrate the extensive reach of this vulnerability, with a significant number located in the US and Europe. Moreover, the nature of the attacks has evolved, with reports of opportunistic cryptocurrency mining and the deployment of sophisticated backdoors. The exploitation techniques range from simple command executions to complex payload deliveries that establish persistent access. The versatility of these attacks is alarming, as they can operate without leaving traditional forensic artifacts, making detection and mitigation efforts increasingly challenging. In response to the escalating threat, security researchers continue to release proof-of-concept exploits, further emphasizing the urgency for organizations to update their systems. Federal agencies have been given a deadline of December 26, 2025, to implement necessary patches, reflecting the critical nature of this situation. As the landscape of exploitation continues to evolve, the need for vigilance and proactive security measures remains paramount. The ramifications of the React2Shell vulnerability extend far beyond individual applications, affecting a wide range of organizations and frameworks reliant on React server components. As the exploitation of CV 2025-55182 intensifies, security teams across various sectors are grappling with the urgent need to patch their systems. The vulnerability impacts not only the core React library but also numerous downstream frameworks, including Next.js and React Router, thereby amplifying the scale of potential breaches. Data from Census highlights that approximately 2.15 million internet-facing services could be compromised, emphasizing the widespread nature of this flaw. The rapid response from security firms such as Palo Alto Networks, which has identified over 30 affected organizations, underscores the vulnerability's serious implications across industries, including finance, healthcare, and technology. This has prompted organizations to prioritize immediate updates, especially as federal agencies have been given a deadline to secure their networks. Threat actors are not only exploiting the vulnerability for initial access but are also employing sophisticated techniques to maintain persistence within compromised environments. Reports indicate that attackers are leveraging tools like Cobalt Strike and deploying backdoors such as Noodle RAT, which can infect both Windows and Linux systems. This multifaceted approach to exploitation illustrates the adaptability of cybercriminals in responding to newly discovered vulnerabilities. Furthermore, the nature of the React2Shell flaw as a deterministic logic error in the flight protocol is particularly concerning. This guarantees execution, providing attackers with a reliable means to bypass security measures. The implications of this flaw are compounded by the extensive deployment of Next.js in enterprise settings, creating a direct pathway to sensitive internal data. As organizations scramble to mitigate the risks associated with this vulnerability, the need for robust vulnerability management and incident response strategies becomes increasingly clear. Continuous monitoring and timely updates will be essential in defending against the ongoing exploitation efforts, which have already shown a troubling trend of opportunistic attacks leveraging this critical flaw. As organizations grapple with the implications of the React2Shell vulnerability, the focus now shifts to effective mitigation and monitoring strategies. Immediate action is crucial, as the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency has mandated federal agencies to implement necessary updates by December 26, 2025. This directive emphasizes the urgency of patch management in the wake of confirmed exploitation. Organizations must prioritize updating their React server components to versions 19.0.1, 19.1.2, and 19.2.1, which address the critical flaw. However, merely applying patches is not sufficient. Comprehensive vulnerability assessments should be conducted to identify any remaining exposures in both direct and dependent frameworks, such as Next.js and React Router, which are also implicated in this incident. Monitoring is equally vital. Security teams should enhance their threat detection capabilities, focusing on indicators of compromise associated with the exploitation of CV 2025-55182. This includes tracking unusual network traffic patterns, particularly those originating from known malicious infrastructure, as observed in recent attacks linked to Chinese hacking groups. Moreover, organizations should implement robust logging mechanisms to capture detailed audit trails of server interactions involving React server components. This data can aid in forensic investigations, should an incident occur, and help in refining detection rules for future threats. Investing in automated security solutions can further bolster defenses. Tools that provide real-time monitoring and alerts for known vulnerabilities can help organizations respond swiftly to potential threats. Additionally, engaging in threat intelligence sharing within industry groups can provide insights into emerging attack vectors and tactics employed by adversaries. Lastly, ongoing education and training for developers are essential. By fostering a culture of security awareness and incorporating secure coding practices, organizations can reduce the likelihood of similar vulnerabilities being introduced in the future. As the landscape of cyber threats continues to evolve, proactive measures will be key in safeguarding sensitive data and maintaining operational integrity. If you found this update helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to InfoSec Now for the latest cybersecurity news. Your support really helps us continue building useful content for cybersecurity professionals.